Your entire life is a story. It has always been a story, and it will always be a story. So the question is, are you living the story you want to be telling? Whatever it is that's happening in your life, and this includes like massive, the situation in the world, ultimately it's all a story, and we're the ones who get to decide how it's going to, not really how it's going to go. We don't know that, right? But we can decide who the character we're playing is. So the reason we get into so much trouble very often is because we forget it's a story. We start to believe the little tidbits of the narrative that appear as facts but are still just beliefs. And like this accumulation of beliefs is that story we're telling ourselves, like I'm a loser, or I'm too old, or I'm too fat, or I can't do it, and I'm not lucky, and money is hard to get, or I can't get that girl or that boy or whatever. It doesn't matter. So, and the thing is, of course, that though we really don't want to hear it and we don't want to know about it, the outside world, to all intents and purposes, is a reflection of your inside world. So obviously, if there's a war, you're not the only person involved, right? But even then, we have a lot more power in those situations than we think we have. And certainly in the conditions of our lives, we're tremendously powerful. So what we'll usually do is, okay, let's say you have money problems. Or money or love problems are the ones we usually have, and sometimes it's also health problems. And for health, it's essentially the same thing. There's a lot of story actually involved in getting sick, and being healthy. But that's kind of a controversial topic. It's a delicate topic, and I'm not saying don't take your medicine, because you should take whatever it is you've been prescribed if you've been prescribed something. But I'm just saying that every healer on earth worth his or her salt will tell you this, that ultimately it is always the person receiving the treatment that is actually healing himself or herself. Like the patient does all the healing. The drug helps, hopefully, not always, but we hope the drugs will help, and the doctor, healer, whatever, pushes you, in the direction of the healing. But a lot, I will tell you this, a lot of what the healer is actually doing, and again, if you really ask them, they will tell you this, is they are allowing you to believe the story of your own healing, which you need to be telling yourself to get better, to get that healing you want and deserve. But again, healing is let's put it on the shelf for now. There's nuances and little things, but certainly for love and money, I mean, it's all stories. And even the idea, like the poverty story in this culture, like the so-called capitalist story. Well, capitalism is 100% a story. It's not a real thing. Again, topic for another day, but the core thing is that, okay, let's say you have a money problem or a love problem. And you go see a manifestation coach, for instance, a law of attraction coach, and he'll tell you, let's say even if you don't believe in it, it doesn't matter. Like, let's say you go to see this guy, and he tells you, do affirmations, 10,000 affirmations. Well, that might work. It's surprising, actually, how much these things work. But there is one crucial factor which will affect if it works or not, is if those affirmations or manifestation techniques actually change the story you are telling yourself, inside yourself. That's the crucial factor. Because what actually changes your outer world, what actually manifests, again using the manifestation law of attraction example, what actually manifests in your life is the belief you have inside you, the many beliefs you have. And those beliefs, those are the story you're telling yourself. Okay. And the reason very often why the law of attraction stuff doesn't work is precisely because you're trying to change your outer life, which is a projection of your inner story. And you're trying to change the outer life without changing the inner story, which is creating that outer life. You see? You're trying to change the outcome of the story without changing everything else about the story. So, and yeah, of course it doesn't work, right? Yeah, okay. So, what's the thing here? The thing is that if you ask somebody else to solve your problems, you will have no problem finding that. Okay. If you're looking for actual help, that is very difficult to find. Okay. But if you're asking people to tell you how you should be running your life, say, if you're asking people, you're telling them, I will give you my power so that you give me a story that will make me feel better. Oh yeah, you will find a lot of those. Yeah, a lot of those people. But ultimately, yeah, they're selling you a story you want to believe. But the story you should be believing is your own inner story, okay? Because you have the actual power. This is the moral here. And I want to say I have a coaching service, so I am selling something. And I have nothing in principle. I don't disagree with coaching in itself. It can be like super useful, obviously. Okay. But what am I doing? Okay, I'm listening to you, and I'm helping you identify your own story to bring back your own power. So that is my approach, because ultimately you have the power. And I'm telling you all this because it is my heartfelt belief, that the only way for any of us to make it through this very difficult part in our individual lives and our collective lives, I mean, the way we'll really get out of this very tough period for humanity, which I always have in the back of my mind, and I suspect many of us, many of you do too. The only way out really is if we bring out the best version of ourselves. We need to find out in ourselves what is that best story. Like, what's the best version of myself? What's the best story I can be telling, with my life? To me, that's how we'll make it through, and that's a big part of why I offer the coaching service. But even if you never contact me, you can. There's a link in the description. First consultation is free. But even if you never do, I mean, yeah, I want to live in a world where everybody is truly, truly free to be their best version, to be their best selves, and to shine, and to sing the songs they want to sing and all that. So yeah, so whatever story you want to tell that story. Whatever person you want to be, that's the person you're meant to be. There is no reason to despair right now. There is every reason to despair, apparently, but there isn't, because the heart of man is strong. And though it doesn't seem like it, and at the risk of sounding woo-woo, there is help in life. It often comes late. Often the help you're asking for, it comes after a very, very cold winter, very long night, you see. But it does come. And I suspect it comes very often precisely at that moment where we recognize that, yeah, I've been telling a story, and I don't want to tell that story anymore. I want to tell a beautiful story. So please tell your beautiful story. And I can't wait to see it. And I'll see you soon. Take care.